Ready? Tell me.
You're hanging out with your friends at a park, when all of a sudden, two drug dealers come over by you and ask you if you want to buy drugs from them. You say no, but one of your friends seems interested. You try and talk them out of it, but it isn't working. Now one of your very good friends has just bought drugs from a drug dealer. Their life could be ruined if they got caught with the drugs. If these drugs came from Mexico, where there's a huge drug trafficking problem. Although this is a hypothetical story, this could happen to you anytime in your life. The problem is that Mexican drug cartels are bringing drugs into the USA. According to Tracy M. Delasco in the Points of View Reference Center in 2011, 400 pounds of marijuana worth approximately $250,000 was intercepted by two officers in the Arizona area. The two officers were off duty and on their horses. They were immediately threatened by the Mexican drug gangs. Delasco also said that in 2010, approximately 2,266 suspects were caught with 2.5 tons of cocaine and over 1,410 pounds of heroin. According to James Walsh on the Star Tribune on October 22, 2009, the Justice Department arrested more than 300 people in the drug operations from Mexico. 31 of those people were arrested in Minnesota. Many of the arrests occurred in the Twin Cities area. The name of the cartel was La Familia. Referenced by Paul Gutenberg in the North American Congress on Latin America Report on the Americas in December 2010, 90% of the United States cocaine supply now arrives across the long, intractable U.S.-Mexican border. Gutenberg also claims that Colombia is now home to some 600 of more well-camouflaged drug export networks. The effects of this happening is not good for our country. As stated by Chuck Goodwin in the Points of View Reference Center in 2011, as of July 2010 in Juarez, Mexico, 1,000 people have been murdered because of drugs. Referred by Michael P. Auerbach in the Points of View Reference Center in 2011, some people believe that the cartels are seeking to replace the law enforcement and impose their own laws in the areas in which they are rooted. If this happens, cities will be controlled by the drug lord and there will be chaos. Many more people will die because people will follow their old laws and have to get executed for that. As stated by Tracy M. Delasco, aforementioned, in 2011, an estimated 22,000 people have died in drug-related violence since 2007. We need to change the law on how many officers are on the U.S.-Mexico border. More officers will be put on the border, and this will happen in early March 2012. The government will enforce this law. The jail sentences will be made for the drug smugglers that are caught. The more drugs they have, the longer their sentence will be. The minimum time they'll spend is 1 year. This will be more effective than what we have now because more drug smugglers will be caught, and drugs from Mexico will be less common in the United States. And the citizens that live by the border will feel safer, and so will everybody else that lives in the United States. Things will get better if this plan is followed because less drugs will be on the streets, kids won't get introduced to drugs, less gangs will be around, and if there's many gangs have drugs involved in them, so if there's less drugs, there will probably be less gangs. And more jobs will be made, because more officers will be needed to be put on the border, and more jails will be needed, so we'll need people to build them. People that live in the USA will feel safer because drug smugglers won't be around, and they will have more officers in the area by the border. I need you to make this happen. Contact President Obama. He can be reached at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C. 20500. Tell him that you believe there should be more officers on the U.S.-Mexico border. Please do this today before more illegal drugs are brought into the USA.